Yes, hello everyone. Very good evening to all of you. I'm Prarthana Joshi, the moderator of this session. And on behalf of Global Knowledge Research Foundation and the Knowledge Chamber of Commerce and Industry, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to this technical session, the 7th International Conference on Information and Communication Technology for Sustainable Development through Zoom. I hope you all will enjoy the knowledgeable and interactive sessions through the day. There is a special note for all the presenters presenting here. You will be given 7 to 8 minutes for your presentation and further 2 minutes for your question and answer. On 7 minutes, I will raise a gentle reminder. If you are having any query or any update, you can write it to me in the chat box. Also, there is one special note to all the presenters and participants. You all please stay connected until the closing remarks. Just before we get started, I would like to introduce you all to the chair of this session, uh, Professor Om Prakash Rishi. Welcome, sir. Hello. Hello. Yes, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I think sir is facing some difficulty. Let me introduce our session chair. Professor Om Prakash Rishi is presently working as a director of IT, University of Kota, and associate professor in Department of Computer Science and Informatics, University of Kota. Present research interest of Dr. Rishi is intelligent system and IT, case-based reasoning, AI applications, computing, and e-governance. He has published 40 research papers in international referred journals and 30 research papers in international conferences, proceedings, and received 2 Best Paper Awards. He has also published 8 books. So welcome, sir. I hope you can hear me.
Pratna, make him co-host.
Okay, sir. Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm audible, Pratna. Please continue. I'm audible to you?
Yes, sir. Welcome,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting within this prestigious event for chairing a session. And I would like also thanks to the GR Foundation as well as all the participants for this session chair. Thank you. Please continue.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. So now we are moving forward to our first presenter. So our first presenter is Vasundhara Bansal to present her paper title on validation study of delivered 12 lead reconstructed ECG interruption in a smartphone based ECG device. Please, Vasundhara, you can continue now.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Am I audible to everyone?
Yeah, but speak loudly, please.
Yeah, hello, good evening, everybody. Now, am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah. So my topic is validation study of a derived 12-lead reconstructed ECG interpretation on smartphone-based ECG device. So I'm starting my presentation with what is ECG. ECG is defined as a recording of electrical conductivity of a heart on a graph paper. Basically, it is a non-invasive technique used to detect heart problems and monitor the heart health. This machine is used to record all the electrical conductivity of heart, which is also known as electrocardiography. Now comes to the features of the ECG. ECG gives the information about the heart rate and the heart rhythm. It is a diagnostic tool for various heart conditions like arrhythmia, ischemia, or myocardial infarction, etc. It is also used to localize and interpret the various heart abnormalities like blockages, low volume blood flow, increased ventricular mass, etc. The ECG also provides a linear array information by using Ethiopian's law of wave superimposition that was developed in the early 1880s. ECGs are also capable of providing 360 degrees of the heart by placement of electrodes in the different locations of the body. So what is the need of portable ECG device? First to detect the functioning of a heart rhythms anywhere, anytime. It can be used in the case of an emergency. It can also used to measure the size and the position of a heart chambers. It is also used to detect the blocked or narrowed arteries in the heart that's causing chest pain or heart attacks. It can also use to check the damages of the heart. So these are some of the portable ECG devices. The first one is cardiorhythm app. Second one is Apple Watch. Third one is My Diagnostic. Fourth one is My Cardia brand. Fifth one is AliveCore, and last one is a Spandan ECG. So, now comes to the research gap. So there are appropriate and accurate of a ECG which requires its sensitivity and specificity, which can be understood, and considered during the interpretation. The derived well lead ECG on smartphone has yet not been evaluated for the purpose of interpretation of ischemia and myocardial infarctions. There are several studies which also have examined the accuracy of computer ECG interpretation, which can conclude that computerized ECG interpretations are not the substitute of the physician interpretation. As in 1991, there was a study performed where computer programs was 6.6% less accurate on average than cardiologists identifying the ventricular hypertrophy and myocardial infarction was found. So coming to the aims and objectives, what are the aims and objectives of the research? First one was to evaluate the reliability of derived well lead ECG. Then second one is to evaluate the feasibility and the effectiveness of the process of taking 12 lead derived ECG from the smartphone device. And the last one was to know how accurate the derived 12 lead ECG is compared to the gold standard ECGs. So here we comes to the methodology. This was an observational study where the collection of a data were taken with the permission of consultant cardiologist, department of a cardiologist at Sri Mahant Indresh Hospital, Dehradun, and the Fortis Escort Hospital, Dehradun. The whole procedure was divided into 3 parts to ease the process of interpretation. The first one was that the patient at the both hospital who had been scheduled for the routine checkup were the part of the study. The second one was the enrolled subjects at the both hospitals were taken from both the machine. That one was GE Mac 2000, Philips PageWriter TC, and the Spandan ECG. The inclusion criteria of the patient was more than 6 years, who were prior to the heart abnormalities. For example, placement of a stent, their hypertensive, placement of the pacemaker, or many more. Not only the abnormal patients were taken, but also the healthy ones were also included in the study. But apart from the inclusion, there were some of the exclusion criteria of the study. So first exclusion criteria of the study was the patient with the loose and the wrinkled skin. The second one was the motion artifact, and the last one was the baseline wandering. After sorting the suitable subject for the trial, a trial operator was also hired to conduct the trial in an unbiased manner, so there won't be any biasness. So here comes to the process, how the study took place. First, there was the sorting of the subjects. After after sorting of the subjects, the study was have been explained to the patient, and after explaining the study, the patients were asked to fill the consent form. After filing of their consent form, the CRF case report formats of the patients were generated, where their medical history of past to the present were being asked. After that, the recording of a 12-lead ECG was taken from the gold standard machine. After recording of the ECG from 12-lead gold standard machine, 12-lead ECG was taken from the Spandan ECG machine. Then the reports were saved and sent to the principal investigator. Afterwards, principal investigator compared the clinical diagnosis interpretation, and the whole data was saved into a centralized database. And the last step was that the statistician was there to evaluate the further validation and the analysis of the study. Now here comes to the our recording protocol. What was the ECG recording protocols? The tile operators were asked to check all the chest leads are placed in an accurate position or in a correct position. The second one was that electrodes were in a good contact with the skin, so there would be a less or a reduction of a baseline wanting on the baseline artifact. The third one was the test with incorrect placement of precordial leads were made to retake the test to the correct and undistorted ECG traces. The test duration of a 12-lead ECG was made to record it, and the ultimate responsibility for making a correct interpretation was done by the principal investigator. Now comes to the result and the discussion part. The total 202 cases were the part of this study, which was conducted in the SMIH Dehradun and the Fortis Hospital Dehradun, in which 128 subjects were classified as abnormal, 74 were diagnosed as normal. There were 29 cases of arrhythmia, 99 cases of abnormal ST elevation and the depression, and the normal cases were composed of 67 healthy cases with no symptoms of cardiac abnormalities, and the 7 cases were normal or just having a chest pain. Now this is the table which shows the baseline characteristics of the participants both in the Fortis and the Sri Mahendra Indresh Hospital. So the mean age was like a 52. The total mean age was 52, where 65.24 was the male and 47.4 was the female. Non-specific ST abnormality was 52. The males were 65.24 and the females were 47.4. The total STMI cases was 64, in which 19 were male and the 45 were female. Same goes with the normal, where 43 was male and 15 was 43 was an overall case, where 15 was males and 28 were females. This so you can see all the criteria and how we have selected.
Sorry to interrupt you in between, but actually we are running out of time, so please as soon as possible conclude the session.
So I'm continuing. So the cases were divided into two or the false cases under the following boundary, where the first one was the clinical interpreted normal cases were considered true if the derived 12-lead ECG interpretation was sinus rhythm with no ST abnormality. The clinical interpretation on abnormal cases were considered true if the derived 12-lead interpretation was sinus rhythm with ST abnormalities, and same goes with the different cases. Now this is a consort diagram, complete diagram, how the procedure taken. Like first there was a 12-lead screening test were taken, where 230 cases were done, in which we have excluded 28 cases with the baseline wandering and the noise. After that, the consent was taken and they completed the baseline assessment and the randomization was done. So they were classified in a normal and abnormal cases. So comes to the next slide. Here, this is a table which shows the accuracy parameters of the cases, where true cases were 191, false cases were 11, positive cases were 128, and the negative cases with the 74. Now, here we can see the confusion matrix of a detection of a normal and abnormal cases, where we found out true positive cases were 120, false positive cases were 8, true negative cases were 71, and the false positive cases were 3. Now coming to the next slide. Here are the validation parameters of Spandan ECG platform with the comparison of a clinical interpretation of normal and abnormal cases. Here is the validation parameters, which was specificity, sensitivity, positive predictive value, and the negative predictive value. The specificity was found to be 90%, sensitivity was found to be 97.56%, positive predictive value was 93.75%, and the negative predictive value was 96.4%. Here we can see the graph, which where the figure shows the probability to predict the positive cases when the clinical diagnosis was positive, and it was about 93.75%, and the probability of detecting negative cases with the clinical diagnosis was 96%. Now comes to the conclusion. The conclusion was that in overall observational study, it was found that the derived 12 lead ECG can be interpreted under the range of a higher specificity and the sensitivity. And the next one was, as compared to the 12 lead simultaneous ECG, the 12 lead sequential ECG machines are also 95% accurate in interpreting the normal and the abnormal cases. Thank you. Is there any questions?
Yeah, Vandana, within a methodology, you have suggested about,
Yes.
you have discussed about the criteria. Now, exactly what I want to know, what are the basis of selecting these criteria for inclusion, for exclusion of parameters?
Sir, actually, it was a protocol set by the Indiresh Hospital and the Fortis Hospital.
But that is not possible to take care of in all the hospitals, the same
Yes,
kind
sir.
of protocol. So that
Yes,
is
sir.
not this is not a universal criteria in this situation.
No, sir.
This is not a universal criteria.
No, sir.
That means within your study, you have not covered the universal criteria for this particular kind of a study.
Sir, we have covered the ethical criteria.
But that all are ethical. We can't say that this is ethical or this is not ethical. But we have to consider the universal criteria for any of the problem. I'm not talking about this problem. Any of the scientific problem needs to consider all the universal criteria which is associated with that problem. Anyway, okay. The second issue, have you checked the effectiveness of this 12 LED ECG?
Yes, sir. We have checked the effectiveness. We have,
What is that?
That was 99.7%.
Okay. Now my question is, what is the basis of that? What is the basis on which you just calculate this effectiveness?
Sir, yes, sir. I'm telling you, sir. We have taken the test from both the ECG machines, the gold standard and the Spandan ECG machine. Okay, there was the interpretation.
Basically, what exactly I want to tell you with this question. Okay. You have a clinical interpretation of your problem, that you have a clinical data, and based on that you have interpreted, but you haven't discussed about the effectiveness, which is you need to represent it. Okay. Now my next question is, what are the basis of PPV and NPV value selection?
Sir, it
you
was
have mentioned in the last.
Sir, yes, sir. It was all based upon the cardiologist diagnosis.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, you have nicely presented your paper and good, but there are certain things which I have discussed with you. you just take care of in your further research. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Ratna, next.
Yes, sir. So our next presenter is, can you please stop sharing your screen? Dear author, yes, thank you so much. So now I'm inviting our next presenter, Suman Bhagar, to present her paper title, to present her paper on Paracon species detection through deep learning model. Yes, dear author, you can continue.
Ratna ji, do one thing.
Yes, sir.
Call somebody else. Until
Okay,
that, you just share instructions to Dr. Suman.
okay, sure, sir. I'm doing the same. So everyone, now we are moving forward with Dr. Suman. Can you please stop sharing? Yes. Now we are moving forward with our next presentation. That will be presented by Harmit Singh on a virtual tutor on enhance the solving skills of school children using performance evaluation and navigation system. Dear author, please you may continue.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Please continue. Please continue.
Yeah, I am audible, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, my name is Amit Singh, and I will be presenting a paper based on the topic AI-based performance analysis and navigation system, which was developed under the virtual laboratory project of the Ministry of Education in collaboration with Government College of Engineering, Pune. The authors are myself, Harmit Singh, Mohit Kale, Rohan Paul, and under the guidance of Professor Shanta Sundar. So, we will be moving a little fast because we are short on time. So I will start with the introduction first. So it is a known fact that children usually fear mathematics, and uh, we ourselves have gone through that, and this is simply because they have unclear basic concepts, and we thought of on how these could be cleared. So these can be cleared with a simple understanding of the problems and the solutions. And we have also developed a hand holding and a navigation system, which we'll be going through just now. So I will just scoop over the objectives. We won't go too deep into them. So our first objective is to make available an app for the school students of grade 5 to 10. It will be bilingual, which is in English and Marathi, which will help them in enhancing their problem solving skills. And the recommendation system which we have created will will provide performance analysis to the student based on his current level, and which might help him in developing his interest in mathematics. So this what you can see on the screen right now is an overview of our system. We have a front end, so this is independently also made by CVP on their end, and this backend which we have here is was developed by us, which includes two modules. One is AI DQPPM, which we'll be seeing on what it does in the further slides, and AI PANS, which is also another part of the same system, which we will be looking into currently. So here is a summary of all the subtopics in our project. First, we have the topic numbers. So we will be going through each topic one by one. First, we have the topic number. So what is a topic number? It can simply be called as a simple concept in maths, or for instance here algebra. So as we can see on the screen, we have 0301 equation. So for the code that is written as 0301, this is actually made upon the fact that concepts in maths are based upon levels. So first, the student can solve some equations. After that, he can use only one letter in place of a number, which is equations with one variable. Then he can move on to mathematical expressions, which means equations with powers and all that. So how did we go about doing this? First, we thought of CSV generation. So what it does is it generates question for the student to solve upon, and we don't have any duplicate questions. And first, we have attributes involved in the CSV. So this is what each question consists of. Question type, answer type, topic number, as we saw 0301 can be taken as an example. We have the variation number. So what is a variation number? Variation number can be seen as the generic interpretation of a certain question. So let's say we have a question which is 2x plus 3 equals some random number. So this can be regarded as a number. Okay, let me just show you the example afterwards. So yeah, so here we have an example. So this whole CSV that has been generated is of a certain variation, in which we have different instance of the same variation, which is regarded as a question in our system. So you can see here we have which of the following statements represent an equation, and we have the correct answer. And it is currently not visible here, but the wrong options are also given further in the sheet. So we have so as you can see, we have correct answer 1, 2, 3, and 4, which means one single question can have multiple correct answers also. So on the next slide, so here comes latex implementation part. So if we were to focus on this correct answer cell currently, we can see we have dollar signs before and after the equation. So what this does is, on the left side we can see the question. So this is a similar question on what we just saw in the sheet. So this whole UI was given to us by COEP to test our latex. So latex is latex can be called as a simple renderer for max based on certain syntax. So if we see here, we have $20y minus 15 equals 27, and if we see the output here, then we can see that the letters have been changed, the signs have been improved a bit, and this also works upon division signs, multiplication signs, even some symbols like pi and all that. So this actually eases the progress of the student to see if he is solving some questions. So this is a similar format on what they have in their textbooks. Next, we have a Python package. So this is a Python package that we have to deploy to ease the process of the CSV generation and the algorithm building. This is available on PyPy, and if you want, you can even install it, or you can go on pypy.com and see. Next is degree of difficulty. So each variation that we have here has a certain degree of difficulty assigned to it, which ranges from 1 to 5. So this 1 to 5 of degree of difficulty was assigned by subject experts in the team of COEP. So they were teachers who had around 30 years of experience in the particular subject, that is maths. So next we have a DoD cluster. So what this does is, suppose a student comes and solve a certain question in our system. So what we do is we check on how he has performed on the certain questions. So this is for one student. Once we have the data for, you can say, for 1,000 or 10,000 questions solved by a number of various students, what we do is we put it in a DoD clustering algorithm, and you can see here we have a success ratio of each question. So if you can say, if a certain question has a success ratio of 90%, that means 90 out of 100 students were able to solve it, then we will assign it a number of degree of difficulty of 1, and if not, then based upon different. So this isn't hard coded, like it isn't like above 90% would be 1. It is based upon the time as well taken. So here we can see as that we have expected time, so currently attempted into time assigned upon the proportional difference, which is time taken minus expected time. So what is this expected time? This is also assigned by the experts when they assign the respective degree of difficulty for each question. So level 2 clustering is based on time. So we have two levels of clustering. First level is based upon the success ratio of the particular question, and the level 2 clustering is based upon time. So once both the levels of clustering has been ran upon the data, then we get the output, and then we can see on which questions we will be changing the degree of difficulty, and from which we will be keeping it the same. So next we have DoD cluster again. After dividing the variations in 5 clusters using both the methods, the final difficulty level is assigned using swapping method. So we have if a variation, so we have an example here. If a variation with ID 101 has correction ratio base cluster as 3, which means you could say for just explanation purpose that for a degree of difficulty 3 question, we could have around 50 to 60% of success ratio, and it has a T cluster, which means a time cluster. So students are able to 60% students are able to solve it, but they are taking more time than usual, more time than expected in that particular question. Then we will move the assigned degree of difficulty of that particular question to level 4. So next we have time. So this is what we are doing on a front end. So as you can see, we have a picture here. We record the time of each student for each particular question, and then we use it for the calculation of his performance. Next, we have the performance analyzer. So this is a module. As you can see, we have AI pans here, and here we have the backing. So if you remember the first slide, which was the overview, we had a AI pan system. So what this is doing is we get some input data. So input data is basically when one student solves a particular test paper, it gets sent in the performance analyzer, uh, gets saved into the student history along with his calculated performance, and in the same database we have a variation m data, which is a table storing all the information regarding each of the variations and questions, and which uses the DoD cluster to assign the new degree of difficulty for each question. Next, we have performance calculation. So how does it actually get done? We have a certain formula to calculate the performance. So the equation is 5.001 upon 1 plus e minus x by 6 plus 3. So the x that you can see here is actually the calculated value of x, which is calculated as DoD upon time ratio for a correct attempt, and time ratio upon DoD for a wrong attempt. So the way this works is this x that we can see here is actually the cumulative amount of his current performance. So if he has attempted 10 questions or 10 test papers till now, then the x that we will feed here would be his cumulative performance. And as to why we have come up with this with an inverse proportion for a correct and wrong attempt, so the logic we developed is if the attempt was correct, then the increment we want in his performance should be directly proportional to the DoD. So if a DoD 1, he solved a DoD 1, then it wasn't the hardest question in the test paper, and could be solved by other students as well. But if the DoD was 5, then that means it was a hard question, and the increment should be as follows. Upon the time ratio, so if this inversely proportional to time means the more time he takes, the less
Ritiji,
increment
please
in his
summarize your
performance. What's it?
please summarize your paper.
You're not audible, sir. Hello?
Just conclude your work.
Okay, sir. Okay. So next we have the recommender, which recommends question to the paper to the student based upon 3 modules: popularity based, user based, and collaborative filtering. Here is the summary of each of the modules. Popularity based selects the variation with the highest correction ratio, which is the easiest questions. User based selects the recommend personalized questions to the user based on his performance. And collaborative filtering recommend questions that other similar students have already attempted. Last is the navigation part, which blocks the student from attempting any further module unless he has cleared the current module. So as you can see, we have a log module also. This is the student analysis part, and we ran it based upon the DoD and performance uh, plotted against the number of iterations. So as you can see, if the student is getting all the questions correct, then his performance level is increasing. And here for 25%, the recommender is working in a similar way to the performance of the students. Here we have the 75%, and then we have the 50%. So this is the benefits of society, which I will be skipping currently. And this is the publications part. And here we have the conclusion. So the following objectives were successfully met: MCQ pattern test, analyzing student performance, navigation based on analysis, and hand holding in the form of solution. So that's it for the presentation. If you have any questions, then we would be happy to answer it.
My question is to you. First of all, there are lot many intelligent tutoring system is already available in the market, as well as there are so many systems are there. So what is the importance of this system? How you can differentiate with all these available ITS along with you?
Yes, sir. So the first highlight of our system is that the questions generated here are actually automatic. So each variation is
almost all the ITS generate the questions in automatic way. Nothing new.
Okay. So
if you are talking about the CBR based intelligent tutoring system which is developed in 2009, that is contain the same kind of facility.
Yeah. Okay.
CBR based intelligent tutoring system. I hope you had gone through that.
Yes, sir. So that is the first highlight. Second, we have the degree of difficulty for each question. So the questions that are being recommended to each student is personalized and not generic, which helps him.
How you categorize the students based on their performance?
Yes.
What is the basis of category? What algorithm you have adopted for that?
For that, we have adopted a clustering algorithm, and as I showed you the formula also. So both of those we have adopted currently, and based upon that, in the database we are running the clustering algorithm.
Okay, your system is working in working condition right now?
No, sir, it is not deployed.
This is conceptual model, na?
No, sir. We have a working model. We have a website, but it is not deployed because we have to collaborate with COEP on that. So they have the front end, we have made the back end. Once all the technical parts are done, then
okay. We will be. You have also mentioned that this is also provide a recommendation system. Yes, what is the basis of that recommendation? What are the basic parameters which you have associated for recommendation purpose?
So we have three parameters. First, as I showed you, the popularity base. So first, if the student has entered for the first time, then he would be given the easiest questions so that he can get used to the system. Second, we have personalized, which is based upon his own performance. If he is not able to attempt the certain questions and he has got it wrong many times, then
have you? Yeah. Okay, I got it. Okay. Have you any provision within your system that the fake answers for dealing with the fake answers? Let us suppose a student giving a fake answers at random, selecting any of the option. Then what is the system you have adopted to stop all these things?
So for that, the algorithm will pick up that he is attempting at random because he will be around.
Which algorithm? Which algorithm?
The performance algorithm, because it has 25 to 40%. So it will go on recommending. And once
how that performance algorithm know that this is the fake answers at randomly that is selected or giving the correct answer?
So because it has been inculcated in the front end.
No, not like that. Take care of this. Thank you. Okay. You have done a great job, but you have to work hard. Thank you.
Yes. Okay.
Pratna, next.
Yes, sir. Yes. So now we are moving forward with our next presentation of Shamia Fardoshi to present on take care and approach to help Bangladeshi young adults during depressive and suicidal episodes. Dear author, please may continue.
Thank you. I'm sharing my screen. I hope my screen is visible to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you and good evening, everyone. I'm Sami Firdosi presenting our work on the study that address mental health well-being of young adults of Bangladesh. We compiled our work in a mobile app that helps us to cope tendencies in a healthy way. From March 2020, when we started this work, when the lockdown started due to COVID-19, the number of deaths due to suicide was 70% higher than the number of deaths due to COVID-19. These statistics moved us to do something that can help people who were suffering from mental health issues. So we studied available mental health support system, and we found local organizations that provide help. Though the professional help is available, people are still not encouraged to ask for help because social stigma and sometimes financial issues. We found some helpful mobile applications, free and used by millions of users, but we noticed most of the apps that are designed to help do not follow proper and accurate medical guidelines. To contribute in this circumstance, we started our study with these goals: providing people a brief of their mental health condition, breaking personal and social barriers, preventing suicide, and helping individuals in time of crisis. To examine the actual scenario in our country, we conducted a survey among young adults aged between 18 to 30. And I want to humbly remember and thank our study participants who motivated and helped us to conduct the study. From their response, we found that 61.2% of them are suffering from depression with suicidal tendencies. We used PHQ-9 as screening method during the survey and to identify the depression levels. We considered and compared 6 other techniques with PHQ-9. Relevant studies and work suggest that PHQ-9 provides reliable and valid output than others. The questionnaire is also highly adaptable, which helped us to integrate these questions into app without making it feel like a test to the user. It was simple, rapid, and effective, and also reliable measurement tool to screen for depression. It helps us to evaluate the severity of depression and take necessary actions in time. Along with mental health condition, from this test, we get to know the physical condition of the individual. This is the outcome of the first week in 9 diagnostic criteria of PHQ-9. More than 50% of young adults are suffering from the major depressive disorder with mental and undeniable physical symptoms. But only 5% of them are taking professional help. They are more likely to use mobile applications instead of going to therapy because it ensures privacy, personal security, and control over the situation. And now it's a fact that no matter how lonely we are always have with our phone with us. And even in our self-isolation, we are connected to our phones. So we thought of a solution as an Android application because Android is the most popular operating system. We developed an app that can provide a space that is safe to discuss mental health issues, that provides updates of daily mental health condition and keep track of even slight changes, a system that will provide guide to them in safety and in times of danger and encourage them to take professional help. We instructed our participants to use applications we designed, and the application works like this. Users are prompted to answer some questions from where we take the response for PHQ-9 test, data for users' mood statistics, and label words and phrases as triggers from users' input. Based on this data, the system suggests user relevant learning material and activities while taking data for mood statistics. We ask user to write about their day, like keeping daily notes, and when words and matches with the words they labeled as triggers previously, the system suggests emergency counseling or enables safety plans. These are the features of our applications, and the app connects with user with the emergency helpline and counseling services available in Bangladesh, and it has inbuilt options to contact organizations available here like Moner Bundhu and Kanpetari. It has Stanley Brown's safety plan included, and that keeps a record of the warning signs and keep a list of people as support team with whom users feel safe to contact during depressive episodes, mania, or even panic attacks. To calm down without external help during a crisis, this app suggests and administrates breathing exercise. Depression tends to make people feel tired, and doing daily tasks may seem difficult. So this app suggests to keep a list of small tasks, and completing them can give users a sense of achievement and happiness. So, and learning what's happening and why we are feeling sad for a longer time than usual empowers us to help ourselves. So a PHQ-9 test here is a self-administrative depression test to analyze how we are doing. From daily mood tracking data, we generate statistics and find if there's any triggering event. We develop a social platform where users can express themselves with safety and without the fear of judgment. We included safety plan as Stanley Brown safety plan with warning signs. It keeps a list of contact numbers selected by the user and them a text or calls them in case of emergency. Users are notified to learn about their mental health to know something new to help themselves. Learning the pattern of their mental state helps them to understand what is affecting their mental condition. We get to know the different spectrum of depression from this track. Along with daily activities, the system administers a PHQ-9 test once in 2 weeks, compares it with the previous result, and determines the progress or deterioration in every of the 9 diagnostic criteria. And after 4 weeks, when we got back with our participants, they shared feedback like this. These applications help them to be more physically active, to keep them in track. And with help of this app, finding help was easier than before. And some of them felt more hopeful knowing they're not alone. And we had PHQ-9 scores of our users within 2-week intervals. And 83% of them had significant improvement in the PHQ-9 score without any other influence than app. Though we had some negative responses regarding the anonymous social platform, we are glad we helped at least 83% of our participants. And most of the statistics we mentioned here are from survey results, and others will be found in the list of reference. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, Samia.
Yes.
Yeah, you just presented your topic in a very beautiful manner, but I have certain doubts in my mind that is it implemented in a real-time scenario? Do you think this kind of app is useful in the real-time scenario?
We work with real people, the students from our university and our community, like real people, and they use this app.
I know you are doing for community, but do you think it can be useful for a real-time scenario? Let us suppose I explain. Let us a person having a panic attack. And at that, any of the person who is the user of this app, who is having or facing a panic attack, in that time, do you think he will use this kind of app?
I don't think that you will have that in mind to open an app and ask for help, but I think they will, when I mentioned that this app notifies you to keep track of your daily activity, like taking daily notes. So when I'm taking a note and mentioning what triggers me to go for what triggers me in a panic attack, and
how it is different, how it will work differently. There are a lot many tools are already available for this kind of things. These kind of activities are there. Then how it is different?
It is different because it is specifically designed for Bangladeshi young adults, not for globally.
Even that can be used for anyone. There is no barrier of country or something else.
And anyway, I studied a lot of apps and mobile applications.
Can you listen me? I just suggest one thing.
Hello.
This is a good thing. You just have some kind of things. Let us suppose a user have a smartwatch, and any of the this kind of panic attack, the blood pressure is raised, the app automatically open and judge the situation of the patient and send the alarming signal to the parents or somebody near and dearest, like that. So do in that way. I think that will be more useful.
Yes, that is a excellent future aspect of this app.
So you do think about that. Good. Thank you. Thank you so much. Please call somebody else, some other person. Pratna ji.
Yes, sir. So let's move further to our next presenter, says Pinal Patel, to present on simultaneous estimation on nebular and clinidipine in pharmaceutical formulation by reverse phase high performance liquid chromography method. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. Hope my screen is visible to everyone and I am also audible to you all.
You are audible. Please continue.
Okay. So my paper ID is 117 and we'll be talking about the simultaneous estimations of a nebular and cilnidipine in pharmaceutical formation by reverse phase high performance liquid chromatography method. I'm attending this web meeting with my co-author, Drashti Patel. So this is an outline of our today's presentations, wherein we'll talk about introductions and what kind of the materials and instrumentations we have used for the experimentations. How did we prepare the diluent, and what finally we'll talk about the wavelength. We carried out the lots of experiments and cover 3 parameters on which we have measured the performance of our experiments, and these are the specificities, linearity, and the accuracy. So now let us talk about the introductions. Nowadays, many people are suffering from the hypertensions, and for treatment of the hypertensions, tablet dosage form of the combined fixed dose formations should be used. So nebivolol and cilnidipine, these two are the medicines which are frequently used to treat such a kind of the disease. But the issue with these two diseases are there. If we go with these medicines or the tablets form individually, then the cilnidipine requires 20 mg once in a daily. But in case of the nebivolol, it requires maximum 40 mg per day. So what we are trying to do, we try to reduce the dose of the individual drug. So we'll find it out a way so that if we go with the hybrid form of both the medicines and the tablets, can we find it out, can we have the mixed doses of both the tablets to reduce the dosage for the patients, so that the patients can have the lesser number of the side effects. And as per the literatures, various methods have been described for analysis of the individual drugs and combinations of these drugs. So how did we prepare the materials and the instrumentations for the experimentation? So we are very grateful to Cadila Pharmaceuticals, Ahmedabad, and Nishan Pharmaceuticals, because they have actually sent the pure form of these two medicines. And we are also thankful to the Mark Private Limited, because they have provided the HPLC quality waters and the remaining ingredients which are used in the experiments. Now, I request Drashti Patel to please carry on. Due to little bit health issue, I cannot continue with it. Drashti?
Yes, Pranav.
Okay. Over to you.
Yeah. Material and instrumentation. LC20ID provenance liquid chromatography with UV detector is used for the chromatographic separation. The output is wavelength to 83 nanometer. We are showing it in Springcrom CFR software. Pinal, next slide, please. Okay. The other test parameters are already there in the PPT. And you can see various calculation of specificity, linearity, and accuracy of both the drugs, nebivolol and cilnidipine. Optimization and chromatographic condition. Acetonitrile, water, methanol, water, phosphate buffer. Acetonitrile and phosphate buffer is used for the HPLC. Methanol is all taken in varying quantities. Like we are using the mixture of 50% ACN, 30% of methanol, and 20% potassium dihydrate orthophosphate buffer. Hello, I'm audible?
Yeah, continue.
Okay. And then we are used, the peaks are clearly defined, and the peaks are nebivolol are obtained 2.37 minutes, and cilnidipine RT time means real time 7.69 minutes at a flow rate of 1.2 ml per minute. You can see first peak is Silnidipin. First peak of Nebivolol 2.37 minutes, and second peak is Silnidipin 20 mg per ml. We are using the solution. It is obtained 7.69 minutes, and you can see in parameter also. Next slide, please. Okay, it is a alone Silnidipin peak. We are next slide. Okay, it is a calculation of concentration, mean area, and percentage RSD. Yes, concentration of standard drug 4%, and we are using the 1 gem 2 ratio. 1 gem is nebivolol 4 mg and cilnidipine 8 mg, and the difference level of we are checking the accuracy. You can see in my accuracy table. Next slide. Okay. Conclusion. Conclusion is that RPHPLC method is simple, dependable, and selective, delivering acceptable accuracy and precise with a lower detection and quantification limit. The overall chromatographic runtime was 10 minutes with eluting times of 2.37 minutes. It's nebivolol, and 7.69 minutes. It's a cilnidipine, respectively. This finding shows that stabilized RPHPLC technology is easy to use, precise, accurate, and reliable.
So you are a pharmaceutical student, researcher.
Yeah. Yes.
Basically, I'm unable to understand. Can you explain why you have submitted this paper within this conference? Because you haven't mentioned any of the machine learning work or nor any computational techniques you have mentioned here. This is a purely pharmaceutical papers. So I'm unable to understand why you have presented this paper in this IT conference. Can you discuss about this? Whether in the future might be possible you want to include some machine learning algorithms for training purpose or for an analysis purpose of your results, might be possible you want to.
Yes, sir, you're absolutely right. So yes, sir, actually you're absolutely right. Initially, we are still in the first phase of our experiments. We have just collected the data, and finally we'll apply this to the one of the deep learning algorithms to find it out whether it is good or not. So that is why we have put our paper in this ICT conference.
Exactly what I want to understand. You want to include this thing, you want to solve this problem with the help of deep learning. So I think you have to present somewhere, or you have to include this machine learning means a deep learning technique in your slides. That will be good.
True, sir. True, sir. So
otherwise,
we'll try.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Pratna ji.
Yes, sir.
Who is next?
Okay, the next, please stop sharing the screen. Yes, thank you. Our next presenter is Mr. Nazmut Shakib Dip to present roof garden irrigation and drainage automation using microcontroller.
Yes, thank you. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, sure.
Is it visible? Hello?
Yeah, continue please.
Okay. Greetings everyone. My name is Nazmut Shakib Deep. I am going to talk about my project, my paper, roof garden irrigation and drainage automation using microcontroller. So here are my other author members. This is my outline. First, I'm going to talk about introduction, then my objectives, then the system architecture, system design, and then the future work and conclusion. So roof gardening is a hobby, which is also good for the environment. Slowly, the people who used to do gardening now are moving into doing roof gardening. As you know, because of the modern urbanization, the places are now becoming less and less. The areas are being reduced, so there's very less space for gardening. So what people do is that in their flats or buildings, they go to the roof and they plant their plants there, which is called roof gardening. Now, this is a hobby. Which is not also good for the people, but also for the
Can you
environment.
skip this introduction, please?
Okay. So our objective in this research is to prevent the water stagnation, for which we added the drainage system, and also water wastage. And the entire idea of the project research is to make gardening easy for the people who love to do gardening. This is the system architecture of our research. So for watering system, sensor 1 reads the data and sends it to the Arduino. If the voltage is high, then the Arduino turns on the relay switch, which breaks the circuit, and then the motor is turned off. If the voltage is low, then the relay switch is turned on and the motor is also turned on. Similarly, this can also be function can also be done using the Node MCU through voice control or by tapping the on button. Also for the drainage system, the sensor 2 reads the data and sends it to the Arduino. If the voltage is high, then Arduino turns off the relay switch, which breaks the circuit, and the motor 2 is turned off. And if the voltage is low, then the relay switch is turned on. Also, the motor is also turned on. In this case, the Node MCU can also be used for using through voice command or tapping the button. This is the system graphical representation of how we connected the system. So you can see some of the notable devices: Arduino, water pump, relay switch, adapter, and the Node MCU we have used. For future work and conclusion, we are going to add more sensors to understand water quality better, like pH sensors. Then we are going to also implement cloud so that we can collect data easily, and depending on the data, we are going to implement deep learning and machine learning algorithms to which we can make the lives of the people who love to do gardening or the roof gardening easier, so that it will be much more effective and can be used for further research. Uh, these are the references that we have used. Thank you.
In third slide, you have presented system architecture.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you think this is a system architecture? From my point of view, this is a process diagram. This is not a system architecture. Basically, system architecture contains a lot of things. Okay, this is not mentioned within here. So I'm unable to understand. In my point of view, this is a process diagram, how your system will work. Okay, so process, there is a one activity, this is another activity, how you move from one activity to another activity. So that's there. So I think you have to reconsider about your system architecture.
Sure, sir.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for the valuable feedback, sir.
Ratnaji, can we move for next presentation? Ratnaji?
Yes, sir. Actually, there was some technical, sorry, sir.
Okay.
Yes. So now we are moving forward with our next presentation. That is of Aishwarya Farahi to present on smart system to reduce high beam glare. Please continue.
Hello, I am Aishwarya Farahi and I will present my paper, Smart System to Reduce High Beam Glare. At night, when there is no light, we lose our perception and ability to see objects that are not in our peripheral vision. Driving at night is one of the most common causes of road accidents. About 1.3 million people die every year due to road accidents. While only 25% of the vehicles are driven at night, 55% of road accidents happen at night. Even though we can see at light, street lights, headlights, tail light, and darkness combined together make it very difficult to see. It is very hard to adjust our vision when we move from darkness to bright light and bright light to darkness again and again. And this happens a lot when we are looking straight into the light of oncoming vehicles. High beams can be very distracting for both drivers and pedestrians. If you ever drive at night, you know how hard it is to keep changing between high beam and low beam manually while neither of them fits the situation perfectly. So to solve this problem, we have introduced an automated system that controls the beam of the vehicles based on the situation, which helps to reduce accidents during the night. This is our circuit diagram, and next we have a process diagram where I will explain how the system works. It has a light-dependent resistor sensor for detecting the presence or absence of light. If a place has enough light, the headlight will switch from high beam to low beam. If a place is dark, the headlight will remain in high beam. There is a second LDR for sensing the high beam of oncoming vehicles. When we sense a vehicle, it will switch from high beam to low beam so that other drivers can see where they're going. We also have an IR sensor which detects objects within 4-meter proximity. So if the high beam is on, it will rotate downwards with the help of servo motors to help pedestrians or animals pass quickly. This is our working proof or result. We have a picture here of a low beam in presence of sufficient light. Next, we have a picture of high beam in absence of light. And in the third picture, we have intensity reduced of the high beam when there is a vehicle coming from the opposite direction. Next. For our limitations, while driving in a residential area, the system may confuse street lights with approaching vehicles, causing it to switch between the two beams when it should not. Another limitation is that the car manufacturers and lawmakers have to work together to maintain guidelines so that the device is used in all vehicles. To overcome such limitations, we can use polarizing filters. A horizontal polarization occurs when light reflects off horizontal surfaces such as road, water, or snow. A vertically oriented polarized filter will reduce glare while still allowing plenty of light to pass. We can also use a shutter system which covers sections of the headlight and can be turned on and off as needed. Our project's future goals are using this technology in real-time vehicles and building a system that can reduce glare without needing to communicate with other vehicles, improving the system's efficiency with the support of industry professionals, and making it less expensive. Conclusion. As per the records of past year, vehicular accidents are mostly based on the use of wrong beam. Through this proposed system, drivers won't feel temporary blindness due to high-intensity headlight glare from vehicles on the opposite side if both vehicles have this system. Using this system will decrease the risk of accidents of drivers and passengers during nighttime. Driving a manual transmission vehicle is riskier than an automatic vehicle because human error causes 94% of all vehicle accidents. If manual or transmission vehicle has this system, they can be able to enjoy facilities of a luxury vehicles. By using this system, drivers can have comfortable vision during all conditions. This next slide, please. These are our references. and I would be happy to answer any questions if you have.
Nice problem selection, and nicely you have presented your this problem as well as you addressed all the issues related to this problem. But
Thank
I
you, sir.
have certain points in my mind that
Okay, sir.
how you handle this issue from the other sides. You can control this glare of the light from your vehicle, but how you handle in the situation that another vehicle using the same kind of light, or that you have any solution in your this problem?
No, sir. We have mentioned in our paper that both vehicles have to use this
In the
system.
last slide, you have mentioned you have discussed this thing in the future.
Yes, sir.
You have mentioned in the future scope. Anyway,
Yes, sir.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, dear author. Sir, I just want to request one thing. We are having few authors, one or two, who were not able to present their presentation in previous session. So can I continue with them in this session?
That is your matter, ma'am. What can I say? You just carry on, no issue.
Okay, thank you, sir. So I would like to call our next presenter, Mr. Rahul Pethe, to present on analysis of energy efficient routing protocol for wireless sensor network in environmental monitoring. Sir, you may continue. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Sir is joining. Some network issue is there. I'll share it.
Okay, fine.
I'll share the screen, ma'am.
Okay, please continue with the same. Ma'am, can you please start the presentation, as our session chair is waiting and we are just. Yes.
Ma'am, can you explain first on first slide? Please move first slide. Ma'am, can you show the first slide? Here you have mentioned here environmental monitoring. Analysis of energy efficient routing protocol for wireless sensor network in environmental monitoring. What do you mean by environmental monitoring? And exactly what you want to present with the help of this environmental monitoring?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, this is Rahul Pethe. It's this is just an analysis of energy efficient routing protocol. There are different types of routing protocols, like we can say that a part of hybrid routing, it means reactive and proactive routing.
Yeah, I got it. I want to know about this particular term, environmental monitoring. Exactly within that, what you want to present?
Okay, so as we know, like the node is equipped with the hardware, like sensors, multiple sensors. So if we'll design a such type of sensor which can be a part of environmental monitoring by using DHT11, Node MCU or Arduino or Raspberry Pi. So DHT11 is the humidity and monitoring sensors. So that can be, we can monitor, or the other sensors are there, like MQ2 sensors and all. So by using that, we can design a hardware, and that hardware is one is the source and second is the destination. By using source, it can collect the data and send it to the destination. And as also we have we can say about that the open source API like ThingSpeaks and all, so that we can share that data on the ThingSpeaks, and we can simulate or we can identify their QoS parameter like quality of service, energy throughput, PDI and all.
I got it your point, but just unable to understand environmental monitoring.
All right.
Is there any sensor which is implemented or you have implanted on the environment and they monitor automatically? Exactly, I'm unable to understand this term.
temperature of an atmosphere.
Yeah.
Or
Sir,
we can say that's pollution.
the proposed model is used for agricultural purposes. That's why the term environmental monitoring is used.
You think about this term twice.
Oh, okay, sir.
Your topic is good, not an issue. Okay, but the last term is simply creating a problem. So you just think twice.
Right, sir. Right.
This is my suggestion only.
Agree.
Okay.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, please continue.
Yeah, ma'am, just stop the sharing. I will share my screen. Is it visible?
Yeah.
All right. So as we know that the title is our analysis of energy efficient routing protocol. So energy efficient, why we as we know that the nodes which are implanted in a rural or outer
Dr.
area,
Rahul, skip
right.
this introduction, please.
Yeah, okay. So we know about that wireless sensor network, and we are going to
we are all aware about that. You just come to the point.
Okay, so we are
skip this also. Skip this.
Right. Okay, so we are going to design a cross-layer design. So what is that? The cross-layer design that self-link, self-organize, and wireless communication by using NRF24L01 is the module transistor model. Cooperative sensing as a collection of data from source to destination to cloud is a cooperative collections. Then process and sends and observe the data as for the for the future purpose itself, or for the statistics purpose, we can process and send and observe the data. So we can design a small node with the sensing competition and wireless competition. So this is our wireless sensor network design. So this is a sort of diagram where we have a implemented node, and that node is get connected with the server, and server will get connected with the open source API. We can say that through HTML, PHP, or FTP server, we can design such type of way. So about the processor or the sensors, we have a sensing data sensors, then that will get given to the protocol, and that protocol is get connected with the open source API, as I already told you. So we have a current challenges and research issues are nothing but energy efficient is a energy per reducer energy, and delay, that is total energy and packet. So these are the parameter we are going to identify, and we are going to find out. So this is our research gap. So energy is most important concern for any type of node. There depend on the network lifetime, performance, and routing issues whenever the data has been sent and received from that particular node where it is available. Then transmission delay is also a part of that. Uncertain delay in communication, link failure is a part. Then lengthy routing protocols. So these are the issues that we are identify, and we are going to solve the problems by using these various routing protocols that we already told about, that reactive and proactive routing protocol and the hybrid routing
Dr.
protocol.
Rahul,
Yeah,
Dr. Rahul, can you discuss directly how you handle this problem?
All right.
Forget
Okay,
about
so,
aims and objective and all the things. How you handle this problem?
Right. So what we are going to do, we are design a algorithm which is a part of reactive and proactive protocols, is a hybrid algorithm. Implement a cluster based approach where we have a master cluster, and a second one is the virtual clusters. So the master cluster is a first we can receive the data and send it to the cloud. But if the energy of cluster head get reduced, then we have a virtual cluster which will get work as a master cluster now. So this performance will get increased, and lifetime of wireless sensor will get increased by using the protocols that are nothing but a DSR, AODO, DV, DSDV, and DSDV. These are the four protocols, and by using these four protocol, we can design a hybrid protocol. So that is a point, and we can reduce these energy consumptions and packet drop ratio, jitter, and throughput. This is our methodology. So this is the hybrid routing protocol, and we can design this by using the different types of protocol and identify their loopholes, quality of services. So that is our main issue. We have a cluster head, and we also use implement a virtual cluster head that will be used for the further process. That is our proposed methodology. So through which we can improve the lifetime, and it is a part of very much important for the wireless sensor network. That is a main issue. So the algorithm works in a way, okay, take an input from temperature, humidity, moisture sensor. These are the sensor we can connect. Okay, then we know very well that that can be transmit in a far distance. So we are going to use nRF24L01. This is the Nordic radio frequency 2.4 gigahertz L01 version, and then find the equivalent distance between the node, and then we can transmit the data or packets from one place to another place, from source to destination. So this is nothing but your equivalent distance algorithm is a part of your our proposed work. So these are the few like results oriented points we issued, and this is our conclusion. The performance of protocol which is used in implementing the systems increase not only the efficiency by using a virtual cluster head, but also reduce the energy consumption of the overall network because of the virtual cluster head. Such a system can be implemented in various domain field like agriculture, and where we have actual sensing of data in a different sensors. Different types of sensor we can use. It is not necessary for the agriculture purpose. Environmental monitoring or health monitoring and everything we can process. So this is the sort of our like we can say that.
Have you calculate the performance in terms of any percentage or like that?
So sir, it's our going on process. So we had designed by using nRF24L01 as well as DHT11 and all. So this is the ratio where we can get the some sort of good results, and that we can replicate or compare.
I agree. This is a good research, but have you captured any of the data, and based on that you have calculated the performance? So have you done? Just I want to know this thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, we have. Yes, we have. If we can, I can show it to you.
Great.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much. So shall I stop sharing?
Yeah, please.
Please, thank you very much.
Ratnaji, can we call the next presenter?
Yes. Do we have Dr. Jagdish as Kalimani here? Dr. Jagdish? Dr. Jagdish, I think the next presentation is of yours. Can you please, can you hear me, sir? Sir, I think Dr. Jagdish is not available. So can we move further to conclusion?
Yeah, sure. Please.
Okay, sir. I sincerely thank our all authors for their excellent presentation and great contribution in this session, and all the participants for being part of this international conference. I hope this session was informative enough. And yes, we on behalf of whole team, thank you so much for your support in this version of the conference, even in the previous 6th version of the conference, and we will be happy to have you in the 8th version in 2023. All the participants would be getting their digital certificates through email within 2 working days. Papers have already been submitted to the Springer, and the publication will be live within 5 to 6 months. So I request kindly cooperate with the team ICT4SD 2022. I would like to thank our session chair, Dr. Om Prakash Rishi, for chairing the session. Thank you so much, sir, for chairing the session. And here, the token of appreciation for you, sir. Thank you so much for your valuable time, and it is our pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much, Ratnaji. And I would like to thank all the participants. Might be possible I am little bit harsh for during the question answering session, but just I want to suggest something with my questions, so that some remarkable work can be carried out by you. So thank you so much. And Pratnaji, can we have a photograph with all the participants?
I request all the participants, please turn on your camera for a good memory of this session. Please turn on your camera so I can have one good picture with everyone. I request to everyone. I think, sir, the participants are
left.
physically.
Yeah. People are joining.
Yes. We are having 30 seconds. Please, everyone, I request to all, please turn on your camera so we can have one good glimpse and good memory of this session. Okay, fine. No issue. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, sir.